مشاهدينا في كل مكان، اهلا بيكم حلقه جديده من برنامجنا. احنا معكم النهارده من داخل سفاره مملكه بلجيكا لدى جمهوريه مصر العربيه. العلاقات المصرية البلجيكية هي علاقات تاريخية بترجع إلى أربعينيات القرن الماضي، وده طبعا نتيجة للموقع الإقليمي اللي بتتميز به كلتا الدولتين. لو عايزين تعرفوا أكتر عن العلاقات المصرية البلجيكية، وأيضا لو عايزين تعرفوا أكتر عن مملكة بلجيكا والشعب البلجيكي، اسمحوا لي إن هيكون في ضيافتنا اليوم معالي السفير فرانسوا كورنيه دلزوس، سفير مملكة بلجيكا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية، فابقوا معنا. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، العلاقات المصرية البلجيكية هي علاقات تاريخية بترجع لفترات قديمة من الأزل. احنا هنا في مصر تقريبا ممكن نكون عارفين حاجة أو اتنين متعلقة بهذه العلاقات، متمثلة مثلا في بناء حي زي حي مصر الجديدة أو في قصر البارون، ودي من أبرز المعالم اللي كان فيها العمارة البلجيكية داخلة وبقوة في المجتمع المصري. عن العلاقات المصرية البلجيكية اسمحوا لي أن يكون ضيفنا وضيفكم النهاردة معالي السفير فرانسوا كورنيه دلزوس، سفير المملكة البلجيكية داخل جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, thank you so much for having us today and it's a pleasure meeting you.
Ms. Sarah, thank you very much for coming. You are absolutely welcome in the Belgian Embassy.
Your Excellency, at the beginning, we would like to have a hint or to talk about the historical relations between the Kingdom of Belgium and Egypt. How did it started and what distinguishes these relations?
Well, at the time of the Pharaoh, basically we didn't have much contact because we did still run naked in the countryside. But the bilateral relations began basically with Muhammad Ali. And that's when Belgium was independent in 1830. So from the first diplomatic relations date from 1838, consular relation with Antwerp. And since then we have been around. Since then we have been around steadfastly for business interest with sometimes, at times, reasonably big communities, now a bit smaller of course, but it has been a very steadfast relation for 200 years.
And we had already some remarks here for this Belgium relationship and Egypt, between Belgium and Egypt, this relationship. I would like to talk a little bit about construction Belgian companies that they really made some remarks here in Egypt. One of them is, as I just said, the Heliopolis district and the Baron Palace, for example.
Yes, that is history, but in the 19th century we had one of those brilliant captain of industry that developed electricity basically in Europe, and he came to Egypt and he fell in love with the country. And there he made a new city from point blank, from open field, which is Heliopolis, and a tramway line, because of course that was the big thing. It was not only build a city, but how to get there. And there was a tramway line. So actually it's exactly what happens with the new capital today. They are building also a monorail to get there, and a brand new city. So it was the same, a bit smaller of course. Belgian companies are very active here, among other things. The Grand Egyptian Museum is built by a Belgian company. Many of the hotels on the Nile are built by Belgian companies too. So they are active in this country.
Also, there is new projects in the new Suez Canal for the Belgian companies?
Yes, Belgium being a very flat country, we are like the Dutch. We have to survive by dredging, by taking land on the sea and dredging and putting right the coastline. So we are using our competence here to enlarge the ports. So there's an immense dredging work going on for the port, and of course they were also very busy with the enlargement of the Suez Canal. It's about enormous boats, and the Egyptian government is of course extremely ambitious and is making of Egypt a major economic power, and we are helping this in setting right the port coastline.
About the economy, it leads me to ask Your Excellency about the volume of trade between the Egyptian country and the Belgium kingdom. How much it is?
It's good trade, but it's not enough.
Yes,
Belgium is our second market in the Middle East. Egypt is our second market in the Middle East. Egypt is our second market in Africa. I think in the Middle East it should become the first market. There are 100 million inhabitants here. It's a fantastic market. We should invest more. We should be more present in Egypt. Today we have something like $1.9 billion trade a year, which is not bad, which is good. We are probably ranking fifth in the EU countries in relations with Egypt, but we are more ambitious. We want to do more and to sell and buy more.
Does it mean that there is not enough investment between the two countries?
No, we have had investment. We have still investment. There are some major Egyptian-Belgian companies, by the way. There has to be more. There has to be more. We in Belgium invest a lot in foreign countries. We invest also in Egypt, but I think there's still potential to better this and to come more in Egypt.
Can we know more about the field of investment or the field of trading in between the two countries? What the main field they are trading through?
Look, there's good trade in chemicals, for example. Mm-hmm. There's good trade in pharmaceuticals. There's good exchange of oil products. Of course, tourism is also a sector where we are investing in Egypt, and we have some Belgian tourists. We have 150,000 a year, which is not enough compared to Germany, but of course they are more numerous than we are. So this is also something, a market where we tend to invest a lot, and it's a very interesting market for us, of course.
And how do you read the visit of His Excellency, the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to Belgium?
I think it was very important. We are a friendly country, but we are so sure of being friendly that we don't invest enough in it. So it was a long time that heads of states didn't meet, and so it was a very welcome visit. His Excellency the President was received by the King. He met the Prime Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They had very good, very friendly encounters, and it's very important that Egypt presents itself in a friendly and favorable way, and your President was very good at this in selling Egypt abroad.
It means, does it mean that we will have a new cooperation in several fields in the future due to this visit?
I think cooperation is already excellent in many fields, but yes, we have to make the public opinion in Belgium aware of what Egypt is. It's not only mummies and pyramids. It's much more than this. It's 100 million of very active people. It's a place to do business with. And for this, the visit of the President was very important, I think.
Can you talk about the cultural cooperation between Egypt and Belgium?
Belgium has always been interested in Egyptology for very long, for 200 years or more. I mean, they are a very important current of exploration, digging from Belgian University here in this country. And in 2023 we will celebrate a very important anniversary, and this is the official creation of Belgian Egyptology, with the visit of Queen Elizabeth of Belgium to the tomb of Tutankhamun. After this, there was a Belgian Society for Egyptology being created, and the university invested heavily, massively in Egyptology. And still today, we have 4 excavation works in the country, studying very petty things. I mean, we went to visit a project a few weeks ago, and they were studying the poop of a Coptic monk in the 5th century. It's as bizarre as this, but it means we are really interested not only in discovering, actually we're not interested in discovering treasures. We are interested in seeing how the Egyptians organized their life 4,000 years ago.
I would like to ask Your Excellency about the cooperation in the field of liquefied gas, natural gas, and also the field of energy between Egypt and the Kingdom of Belgium.
Well, that's, you know, that energy is all the craze today, also because of the Russian aggression on Ukraine. It's created a major crisis on energy, and also because of the greening plan of Europe. We want to pass to green energies, and then hydrogen is of the essence. Not any hydrogen, of course, the hydrogen produced by wind and sun. And incidentally, Egypt has a lot of wind and a lot of sun. So there are plans from consortium to link actually the hubs, energy hubs of Egypt and Belgium. You know that Belgium is the energy hub for Northern Europe. We've got in Antwerp the connection hub of pipelines for gas, for hydrogen, for gas. So we want to feed this hub with green hydrogen produced wherever, but in Qatar, for example, in Duqm, but also in Egypt. That's why we are, for the moment, in negotiation with the Egyptian government to go forward, and we are one of the pioneer countries on this field for the moment. It's big things, billion of dollars.
And what kind of cooperations that really held nowadays between the Kingdom of Belgium and Egypt that really is very, you think, Your Excellency, that it's very important for the two countries, rather than the natural gas? And
I think art is important. We have regularly exhibition. You know that we are the masters of comic strip, Tintin, Les Schtroumpfs, all this is Belgian. Last year we had an interesting exhibition of comic strips, original comic strips, in the shopping malls around Cairo. And this year we are organizing a Tintin exhibition also in the Museum of Civilization. There's also a very interesting exhibition coming up on the links between the two sides of the Mediterranean, so meaning Marseille, Alexandrie, but also Antwerp and Brussels. So there will be very interesting projects in this direction. There is cooperation in the field of students. There are some Egyptian students coming to study in Belgium, not a lot, because they haven't discovered us yet. We are reasonably cheap and it's very good quality. And it's sometimes in English. So, but okay, just come and discover.
It can be a future plans nowadays, and we can have this point as a future plan.
Yes, it's one of the fields where it's wide open for us to discover. Of course, for COVID, we had a good cooperation. We gave more than 1 million doses of COVID vaccine to Egypt. I told you that those vaccines were very often produced by foreign companies, but in Belgium. Belgium is probably one of the world center, if not the world center of vaccine production, because we've got this big pharmaceutical industry in Belgium. So there are many fields, industrial fields. I'm sure we can develop more, and of course they've got this immense hub in port, in heavens, that President Sisi is building in Egypt, and the natural connection with Antwerp. So we are working a lot on this, exchange of knowledge, exchange of infrastructure. We are very ambitious in this.
Your Excellency, you have been here for 1.5 years in Egypt. So can you please tell us what's your favorite tourist destination in Egypt?
Well, my favorite tourist destination, it's probably Islamic monuments and also Christian monuments. Islamic monuments, my favorite place is probably Ibn Tulun Mosque in Old Cairo. But also I visited something that is underrated and not exploited enough, and it's the beautiful mausoleums of Mamluk art in the City of the Dead, which is world class, not explored enough for the moment, but world class. And of course the imperial, the big mosques of Sultan Hassan, for example. But I have, as a Christian, a very deep sympathy for the Christian churches, and in particular the monasteries on the Red Sea, St. Paul and St. Antonius, for example, which are wonderful places, and places such as Saint Simeon in Aswan, which is extremely moving. I came here 30 years ago as a tourist, and I was really very moved by the Coptic Cairo at that time. So my favorite places would be the mosques and the churches.
And what about the Egyptian citizens? How do you see the Egyptians? And is there any kind of similarity between the Egyptian and the Belgian people?
مصريين لطيف قوي, but I don't know the plural of things. No, they are very, very nice, and they have something that people in the region don't always have, but that we share with you. It's sense of humor. Egyptians have sense of humor, and it makes them extremely sympathetic, and they are also very friendly to foreigners, I must say. I've not often seen a country where, as a foreigner, not as a tourist, as a foreigner, you would be seen as actually somebody to be liked and friend with.
So what about the Egyptian cuisine? Did you try some of the Egyptian kitchen main plates, and what did you like?
I did try the Egyptian cuisine. To say you honestly, it's not my favorite, but you shouldn't say this in front of television probably. But of course, you've got very good things with mlochie, for example. I like more mlochie. I like okra very much. I'm very fond on okra. Then you've got in Iskandaria, you've got fantastic fishes. That's great. And you've got Middle Eastern cuisine like baba ghanoush, hummus, and these kind of very excellent things.
You like a lot of Egyptian, these are the main Egyptian cuisines. Did you try koshari, for example? Or?
Yes, I mean, it's okay, but it's koshari.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for having us today. It was a pleasure meeting you, and it was really a very nice time that we had with you today.
It was a pleasure, Miss Sarah. Come back whenever you want.
Thank you. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، وبكده انتهى معاكم لقائنا النهارده. كنا معكم في ضيافه سفاره مملكه بلجيكا داخل جمهوريه مصر العربيه، وكنا مع معالي سفير فرانسوا كورنيه ديلزوس سفير مملكه بلجيكا داخل جمهوريه مصر العربيه. تحدثنا عن العلاقات المصريه البلجيكيه، وتحدثنا ايضا عن ابرز الاماكن اللي كان بيحبها داخل مصر، وعن ابرز المشروعات البلجيكيه في جمهوريه مصر العربيه وغيرها من الموضوعات. اتمنى تكونوا حازت اعجابكم، واشوفكم على خير في لقاء اخر، والى اللقاء.